And that's why we're doing the block again. Confirmed. Been asked to do the block for 2022. Guys and girls, let's get back to the market wrap. Today we had 8 auctions and we sold 5 out of the 8. And one of the things I've observed, there appears to be a bit of settling in the market. I want you to understand. There are times when you've got a very high absorption market, that everything that comes on the market gets snapped up. And there are times when you've got a very low absorption market, where what actually happens is that stuff just doesn't sell. Like it doesn't get absorbed by the market. But it's very clear what's happening at the moment. We are beginning to see the speed of decline coming to a very slow pace. So we had a speed decline, and now it seems to be going this way. So that's basically saying to me we are moving into a balanced market. Now, there are a couple of variables here that can impact this now. And I'm not saying that this is the bottom. I'm not saying that this is the bottom, because it could have further to go. And what are the factors that are going to influence whether it's going to drop further? Number one, how aggressive the rate rises are going to be for the remainder of the year. It's a key contributor, number one. Number two, will listings come on as we normally expect in spring? There are signs at the moment that this is not going to be the craziest spring in terms of volume. However, it is too early to call. So if you can think about this, if not a lot of listings come on the market, you're going to end up having prices protected. However, there's another variable, and that is investors. Investors are actually looking at real estate again. Why? Because yields are going crazy. If you're applying for a rental, you've got competition. I know now that many people are putting in applications and properties to get them without even seeing them. So what are we seeing? The return of the investor who for 2-3 years has been getting very low rents and pretty high vacancies. That's changed. There's a crisis on at the moment. There is a rental crisis on at the moment in many markets. Don't get me wrong, there are a few pockets that have got an oversupply of units where you don't have that issue. But in most markets, there is a rental crisis. So then when you turn around and say, what are the other variable factors that are going to impact whether we're going to get further price drops? And that's going to be what fixed rates are going to do. There's already some positivity with certain banks have reduced their long-term fixed rates. And what does that mean? That banks are thinking to themselves that rates are going to go up, but then they're going to start to come down. So they're not thinking of a long-term interest rate rise continuing. They know that what's happening is it's being used by the government as a tool to try and get ahead of inflation. And there are signs now that what the government is trying to do is working. And that's why I've had 5 or 6, 7 people registered at many of my properties today at auction. That's the reason why, right? I've been getting low registrations. I've been getting 2s and 1s. And now we're getting 5s and 6s. So what does this mean for the various people that operate in the real estate industry? Number one, if you're a buyer, you know what? I wouldn't be leaving it too much longer. Because when it moves, when we start seeing the slowest increase in prices again, it's too late. You've missed out. You're already buying more than the bottom. If you're a seller right now, I would probably suggest you come on really, really quickly, because you've also got to take into account that we are going to have rate rises coming over the next few months. And every time there's a 1% interest rate rise, there is a 10% borrowing decline availability to a purchaser. They are given 10% less to borrow. 2%, That's 20%. So the buyer is going to have less money to spend in the short term. Now, if you're the sort of seller that says, hey, you know what? I'll hang on and I'll keep it for a year or so. Well, you can do that. But if your plan is to rebuy again, whatever the market does, it's going to impact you on your sale. It's going to impact you on your purchase. So I always say to people, man, if you're buying a home for your family, don't make a decision based on the market. Make a decision based on your life, because it is a revenue neutral decision you're going to be making. You sell high, you buy high. You sell low, you buy low, as long as you do it in the same period of time. So, gang, that's the state of affairs. I want to thank you so much for watching, and it's the biggest compliment you can give me is your attention. And gang, confirming, we're heading back to Melbourne in a couple of months. We're on the block.